Okay, so lighting is bad. Very aware of that already. So I'm going to try doing a reading vlog for the month of May, and I am currently drafting the agenda. Yay. So I do have 2 mocks for what this could potentially look like. I will be starting the Warden series by, oh shoot, cannot remember his name. Nope, completely blanking on it. The Warden series, which is a 2024-2025 release series. The last book just came out this last Tuesday, April 22nd. So the plan is, if I like the Warden, I will finish the first 3 books by May 10th. That's the plan there. Very doable, seeing that I have recently been reading 100 pages a day because I am attempting to finish the Dance of Thieves series by Mary E. Pearson, which is really good. Really like that. I finished the first book today, got the second book, very excited. Anyways, so the plan is to start off the month with the Warden series. If I like it, I will read all the books by the 10th. Then it is Legends and Lattes. I have a date with a book, so I have a mystery packaged book. It's another romance one. It is an enemies to lovers type sitch, with a matchmaker and the CEO of a dating app. It's going to be interesting. I'm very excited. And then after that, the 6th book for the month, and then Daindreth's Assassin is the last book that I'm planning on reading. Legends and Lattes, I'm giving 3 to 4 days. The plan is to start reading that either May 10th or May 11th and finish it on the 13th. That is the book I will be taking on my trip to go see my sibling-in-laws graduate. The date with the book is supposed to take like 3 to 4 days as well. I've got that one scheduled for the 14th through the 16th or 17th, depending on how long it ends up taking me. Both Legends and Lattes and my mystery book are likely both within the 300-page range, which means I could finish them in 3 days, but my goal is to scale back on how quickly I'm reading books, just because 100 pages a day is not sustainable for me, and I know that, so we're not gonna do that, so I'm giving myself a little bit more time. And Daindreth's Assassin will theoretically take place from May 22nd to May 27th at the latest, and then Daindreth's Outlaw, if I like Daindreth's Assassin. Big if. I really hope that I do. I really want to like Elisebeth Wheatley's work. My plan is to read Tears of the Wolf at some point, probably not until I move, just because the goal of May is to literally read all of the physical books that I have, so I know which ones that I can go and donate to a local bookstore here. But that first draft is if I like the Warden series, and if I like Daindreth's Assassin. I do think I will like that one. I do think I will. I'm a little nervous about it because this is a 5-part series, and if I only have it digitally, and I'm so scared that if I really like it, I'm gonna want to get all the physical copies, and it's gonna be so expensive to own all of those. Ooh, but I might do it. Now, the other potential that will happen is I don't like the Warden, which is gonna cut my reading stature from 7 books in May to 5, and I'm a little worried. Just because I will not be buying any more physical books until I move, which means I'm either gonna need to go get a library card, which seems pointless because I'm gonna move soon, or I will be getting Kindle Unlimited again and devouring a bunch of very mediocre books for a couple of months. That being said, the Warden still is supposed to take 3 days to read. I plan on reading 100 pages a day. I really want to get finished with that book. I do think it will be good. I have already tried to start reading it though, and I just could not get into it. I might be able to now, seeing that I'm going to be reading it right off the heels of the Dance of Thieves series, rather than reading it right off the heels of some random low stakes romance novel. So fingers crossed that works a little bit better. Then it would be Legends and Lattes from the 4th until the 6th. The date with the book I would be finishing right before the 10th, so the 7th through the 10th. And then from the 10th/11th through the 13th would be Daindreth Assassin. Which means I would have the rest of the month. A whole, like, what? May has 31 days, so that's 13 days where I have no planned books, which is fine. I usually don't have planned books. So I'm curious to see how long this reading vlog ends up being. My plan is to just kind of like sporadically update whenever anything interesting happens in any of the books. I'll just pop out and go, what the... I don't know, we'll see what ends up happening. But my plan is to update hopefully after like the first chapter, maybe. Definitely by the 50% mark, then definitely at the end. So we'll see. But so I've reached the 100-page mark of the Warden. Very little is happening. I'm very much aware that this is a series, but so little has happened. So our main character is, what is her name? Alice? It's Aelis. I'm gonna say Alice. She is a warden, which is essentially a magical cop, with like various wizards have various schools that they can fall into, and she falls into 3 schools, and one of them is necromancy, and that's the main selling point. The main selling point is that she is a female necromancer. That is the thing that is like a majority thing in this book, and we have done nothing with necromancy. So she gets set off to a frontier land called Lone Pine, and it is so boring. There's a group of adventurers who have rolled in, but like so little has happened. Like, she's been here a couple of weeks. She's living in like a dingy tower. She just got a bed. She fought a bear, but not really. She like commanded him to go away. I don't know. I think we're getting into the main plot now. Maybe. I really don't know. But there are these like magical coins that they look just like gold. They look like normal currency, but they have some sort of like possessive nature to them, which has caused some trouble in town now. So she's a rich city girl, by the way, and she's low-key super annoying. I'm aware that the book is probably going to get us to the point where she's less annoying and less, like, hoity-toity. But she's kind of hoity-toity right now, and I don't really like it. It's just, and it's not very fun to read. There's a lot of, like, flashback scenes, essentially, to times when she was in school. And I kind of sit there and go, why are we being told this? I don't like the book. I'm not gonna DNF it just yet. I am gonna get to the halfway point. But I don't like the book. And I might try and get to the halfway point today so I can stop reading the book. Alright, I am 70 or so pages into Legends and Lattes, and it is so cute. It's just sweet and wholesome. Our main character is Viv, V-I-V, and she is an orc who has decided to turn away from doing adventuring. I'm covered in temporary tattoos right now. They are not real. Just wanted to say that. And she's opening up a coffee stand in Thune. I think that's how it's pronounced. I really don't know. And the first, like, 8 or so chapters have been her, like, building this little, like, cafe from, like, a livery, which is a, essentially, like, a horse stable. And she's a very fun character. I like her. She's just a sweet, big woman, essentially. And then there's Cal, who's a hob. And I keep thinking of Heimendinger from Arcane or League of Legends. It's the only way I see this little guy. Which is funny because in Warden, one of Alice's professors, he was a gnome, but I kept just seeing him as Heimerdinger the entire time. I did fully DNF Warden, by the way. I got 107, 110 pages in, and I just was not feeling it. So that one fully got DNF'd. I've been reading Legends and Lattes for like 2 days now, and I am kind of just devouring it. So I think that is a good thing. I would not be surprised if I finish this by like Monday or Tuesday. I feel like will probably be when I finish this book. So I will maybe check back in halfway through, and maybe I will check in when I'm finished. So yeah. So I just finished Legends and Lattes. Not just. I finished it maybe an hour or so ago. It's good. It's like a 4 out of 5 for me personally. It's very simple. It is I'm not gonna say low stakes because it's not necessarily a low stakes cozy fantasy situation. But it's just cute and wholesome. There is, like, hello, baby. What are we doing? Anyways, there is a fairly like high stakes thing that does happen like towards the end of the book, but it's solved so simply. It's just cute. It's a very Binks. And I have unwrapped my mystery book, which the only things I knew about it was that it was a romance. It was an enemies to lovers-esque situation. And the romance pair was a traditional Chinese matchmaker and a dating app CEO. I opened it up, and it is Lunar Love, which is a book I have not read yet. I don't think I even heard about it until I got it. But it follows Olivia, who is our newest generation of Chinese zodiac matchmaker for, I think Lunar Love is the place that it's called too. And she is in a competition with this guy named Bennett, who I haven't actually met in the book yet, who's behind a dating app, essentially, that is kind of running her family business out of business. Yeah. We do know that Olivia is, like, it's not really a curse, but it's like, I'm the matchmaker who can't be matched, essentially. Like, as in match with another person. But the two of them make this deal, that they'll find matches for each other using their respective ways of doing it, and whoever succeeds wins. I don't know what the stakes are initially. I don't know what the stakes are really, because I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I am 2 chapters in, and I think she's already met Bennett, but he's bakery guy at the moment, and the two of them had a very fun little exchange that I actually really liked. So I really like the book so far. I'm not that far in yet. I've had plenty of time to dedicate to devouring this book, but I have not devoured the book yet, so I'm hoping to get... I don't know if you can hear my cat, but he screams. I'm hoping to get to, like, page 50, maybe 60. But we'll see. I like it so far. I will check back in if I'm smart around the halfway point, if I am dumb by the time that I am starting the next book in the series. So yeah. Okay, so I am checking in with Lunar Love at 124 pages in. Yeah. I'm on chapter 10 now. I do not like Olivia. So, essentially what's happening in the plot is they finally have made the bet, but the thing is Olivia has gone on, like, 2 actual dates with Bennett at this point. And, like, the chemistry is good. I like the chemistry. I think they're interesting characters. But they get so... They finally find out, or Bennett finally finds out who she is. And things get so heated on, like, a live panel. That's my issue. Is that it is happening on a live panel, and I'm like, ooh, this is uncomfy. So, yeah, I'm not liking this. I am aware that this is like a enemies to lovers type situation, which is fine. But Olivia's so aggressive and stubborn. And women can be aggressive and stubborn, that's fine. It's just like, he's a cinnamon roll. And I don't like the way that she's treating him. So, my plan is to read another, like, 25 pages so that I am properly halfway through the book, and then hopefully I will finish the rest of the book tomorrow. Just because I will be out of town, Saturday through Tuesday. And my plan is to bring my, my little fire tablet instead, and read off of that. The plan is to read Daindreth Assassin, mainly because if I like that book, I plan on getting all of the physical copies, and I kind of want to get those while I am still in the state that I currently live in. So yeah, I don't like this book so far. I don't hate it enough to put it down. I have such a higher threshold for bullshit when it comes to romance books, just because a lot of them are not greatly written. But I will likely finish this book unless things go really bad in, like, the last 100 chapters. I'm so hoping there's not a third act miscommunication / breakup, because I, A, can't stand that trope, and B, really don't want to read it where she's already been kind of shitty to him. So yeah, I will check back in probably at the end of the book, or if something else wild happens. Yeah. I have 50 pages left in Lunar Love, and they are doing the one thing I really did not want this book to do, which is the third act miscommunication. But there's no miscommunication. She's just being so very stubborn, despite the fact that there is, like, her Popo has had a lot of conversations there about, hey, compatibility is not everything. She clearly likes Bennett. And it's just so frustrating. So here's how I think the book is going to end. Obviously, they're going to get together. They're going to merge Zodiac Cupid and Lunar Love together, and Popo is going to die. I mainly say that because Popo got 2 chapters, like, low-key dedicated to her. I'm just kind of like... And they're also mentioning a lot of, like, health problems. Like, she went to grab a handle for the door and kind of, like, stumbled. And she had to sit down while making dumplings. So she's gonna die.
Popo's gonna be dead. There's also this whole scene where she's like, you have never and will never disappoint me. I'm kind of like, Popo gonna die? And it's, okay, so here's what is likely going to happen. The last chapter, or epilogue, I can't remember whether it's an epilogue or not, will be them, like, joining Zodiac, Cupid, and Lunar Love together. Before that, though, so she's storming off right now after having a confrontation with him, about how he lied to her, but, like, not really, and him being a rat, but not really. Anyways. So she's low-key kind of stupid. Mainly because she's just very stubborn and set in her ways, but I think that's stupidity. Anyways. But she's, I think, going home right now. Like I said, Popo's gonna die, and after Popo's death, or, like, it's, okay, she's either gonna die or there's gonna be a health scare. It's gonna be one of those two things. And then Bennett's gonna come and, like, comfort her, and they're gonna bond, and Liv is gonna finally be like, you know what? Yeah, we don't need to be compatible. Because what I feel for... Something has to happen with Popo, though. That has to happen. I really hope I'm saying that right, also. Her grandmother. But that is totally what is going to happen. If not, I would be so shocked. But I have 25? Oh, there is no epilogue. I have 6 more chapters left. Honestly, I really hated the confrontation. I thought it was really dumb, and I just didn't like it. I am low-key kind of tempted just to put the book down and not finish it. But I do only have 70 pages left, or 50 pages left, so it will get finished. It's just I feel like the confrontation didn't need to happen. I thought it was dumb. He, like, explained, like, yeah, I didn't tell you that I worked with Harper to, like, set up our date together. But I like, he makes it so clear that I just want to be with you. I don't give a fuck about my company. I want to be with you. So yeah, I'm gonna finish the last 50 pages today, and I will be back when I am done. This is probably gonna get like a 3. Just a heads up.
Okay, so the last time that I checked in, it was before the end of Lunar Love. That was like the 7th or 8th, maybe the 9th of May. It is currently the 21st, and I have finished 3 books in that time. Lunar Love is one of them. It's not one of them. I've finished 4 books. First of all, Lunar Love. Spoiler alert, Popo dies. Shocking. But the thing is, that's not what... It is what brings Olivia and Bennett back together, but it's more that he went on the podcast. He won the podcast. Emmett or Emery, I think his name started with an E. I don't know. One of the coworkers had messaged the podcast owner that the bet was placed on, that Bennett won. So he goes on the podcast, does the entire story about Lunar Love, big declaration, yada yada yada. The two of them fall in love. I think I gave the book like a 3, mainly because Olivia's really frustrating. They do also join the parties at the end. Lunar Love and Zodiac Cupid become one corporation. Shocker. That being said, I did cry. I did give it a 3, but I did cry, and that was mainly because of Popo's funeral, because that was sad. That it was so... I don't know Chinese traditions very well, but they did like the burning of the paper objects, and it was just sad like in a like a happy sad way. Either way, Olivia did redeem herself a little bit because she got paper things for Bennett to burn for his mother who passed a while ago, who didn't get that tradition at her funeral. So yeah, but I think I gave the book a 3. Next up was Legends and Lattes, or did I read that before? I think I might have read that before. So maybe it was only... Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it was Legends and Lattes and then Lunar Love. The next book that I read was Daindreth Assassin, which was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I will likely read the rest of the series, but I do think I'm actively taking a pause from it, actually. I really like Amira. I think she's a fun character. She's a very interesting character, and I really like Daindreth. I think he is a fun male protagonist. So the general plot of that one is Amira is a... I don't know how to pronounce the word for it, but like a magical slave. That sounds so weird. Technically not wrong. So she has a curse, essentially, that she gets more power the more faithful she is to her master, who is her father at the beginning. It does become Daindreth. There is no, like, master-slave trope in this. I want to make that very clear. Because as I'm saying, it's kind of like, it kind of sounds like it. Not really. But Amira is commanded by her father to go kill Daindreth. Because he is engaged to her sister, Flora. She attempts to kill him. Something happens with her magic interfering with a curse of his. He has like a demon inside his soul. I'm not even joking, that's just straight up what it is. So she's able to like seal the demon when she's around him, which is because of her ancestral blood. I think. We don't actually know why. Because of her ancestral blood, because her mothers, as in like grandmothers, her mother, yada yada yada, the women in her family, the women of her lineage, were the ones who put the curse on Daindreth's father, who was a conqueror, who was the previous emperor, who kind of united all the lands. Now there's the Empress, Vesha. I think, maybe. I've got a lot of book stuff up here. So when Daindreth gets to the castle to like sign the contract to marry her sister, he's like, nah, I want her. So Amira becomes the new bride-to-be. The queen is kind of sketch because she made a pact with demons to like ensure that the empire is like prosperous. She does like go to Amira and kind of, not like flat out, but very much hints, Daindreth isn't going to live. He can't be emperor, but I think you could be empress. So, some stuff happens. Amira casts a spell, a ward on Daindreth to like stamp down the demon inside of him, but that messes with the pact that Vesha has with the demons. So they have to push forward the fact that the demon inside Daindreth is going to just fully take control of him. So with that happening, he orders Amira and his cousin, Thadril. I don't know how to say it, and I can see it in my head, but a couple of the letters are jumbled up. I took no notes. I also read almost this entire book while I was out in Arizona. A lot of it was read in the car. I was so happy to learn that I could read in the car. So his cousin is also a cursed slave. Anyways, he orders the two of them to leave. Amira ends up being able to break her curse, which I think is just true love breaks the curse, to be honest, because she just screams, I love him, and it kind of like snaps. The depiction of magic in this is also so good. I love the depiction of magic. I love the depiction of the demons. that are like Cthulhu's or something like that. What are we doing, baby? Okay. Anyways, so yeah, 4 stars book. There's also a novella attached that was the Archduke, which was Daindreth's POV from the first like couple of chapters, and that was really fun to see. I really like Daindreth's character. He does kind of give Golden Retriever vibes, despite the fact that he's a literal demon in his soul. So, but I liked it. It was good. What did I read after that? So, obviously, I read all of the books that I previously owned. That was the goal for me. Or tried all the books. So, I ordered a new round of books. I've a total of 7 books coming now. I have the book that I just finished reading, which was Delilah Green Doesn't Care, by somebody who I don't remember off the top of my head. The book that I'm actively reading, which is The Romance Rivalry by Suzanne Lee, which I heard about from Carrie Can Read, which is another booktuber. She got the art copy of it, said it was really good. So I'm reading it now. I like it so far. And then I got Dragonfall by R.L. someone. I will say Dragonfall I got specifically because it uses different styles of POV. So it has third person, it has first, and it has second person POVs. And I'm just going to dissect that book from a purely literary standpoint. I don't really care about the plot. Then, please do not knock down any portraits. Why are we going X game mode? I then got Tears of the Wolf by Elisebeth Wheatley, who is the same person who did Dangerous Assassin. That series is actively coming out, so I wanted to read that one first. And then I think I will go back to Dangerous Assassin in a little bit. And then I got The King Weaver, Magnificent, and there's an elf one. Either way, there's this author online on Instagram specifically who made a short that's just like, hey, if you don't mind slightly damaged, like scuffed up covers, here are some of my books on sale. And I just kind of went, all of those books are queer, by the way. Delilah Green Doesn't Care is also a sapphic novel. I have not read a lot of queer stuff, which is really interesting as somebody who is queer. So I'm diversifying there. I'm actually really excited for Magnificent because it is about a genderqueer teenage superhero, and I'm just kind of like, I've written a lot of fan fiction about a genderqueer superhero or non-binary superhero teen character, so I want to read that one. The King Weaver is also about a gender fluid person, which I'm very interested in as a non-binary person. And then the elf one, I think that one's just gay. But I'm mainly interested because it has a lot of like political, or the tags said that it was political. It's also like an elven prince or emperor, something like that, gets like dethroned, and now he has to serve for the current emperor. He changed his face and whatever. Or was that King Weaver? No, King Weaver is... Regardless, those are all the books that I now have that were bought for my next haul of reading. I have 3 of them right now, which is Delilah Green Can't Read, or Doesn't Care, that I just finished, as in like 2 days ago. I liked it. I think I gave it it was either a 3 or 4. I think a 3.5 is what I like properly rated it, and we round down in this household, unless it is actually worth rounding up for. So I guess it was technically like a 3.4. Really good spice. I liked the sapphic spice in it. The story is about Delilah Green and Claire. Yeah, that's how you say her. That's how you would say her name. And Claire Sutherland? Yeah. The plot kind of takes place during the pre-game for a wedding, like the 2 weeks before Delilah Green's stepsister's wedding who is Astrid. Her fiance is a douche. She does break up with him in the end. It's great. But Delilah was hired as a photographer, and then Clara is one of the maids of honor, alongside Iris. I love Iris. Iris is she's the quippy bisexual. Claire is also bisexual, and then Delilah is a straight up lesbian. Anyways, so Delilah and Astrid have a rocky relationship as step siblings because Delilah had no parents by the age of 10. And Isabel, her stepmother, Astrid's mother, is just kind of a bitch. So Delilah does a lot of things to ruffle Astrid's feathers during the wedding stuff before starting to conspire with Claire and Iris to make Astrid realize that her fiance is a douche. And that works. There's also a lot of family drama that kind of gets resolved by the end. Delilah and Astrid have a rocky, working towards steady ground relationship, which is actually really nice to see. And then there's the entire subplot with Claire and her ex-boyfriend. They never got married. Josh, who turns out to be a fine guy. He wasn't in the past. He was just flaky. And the two of them have a daughter named Ruby. I love Ruby. Ruby is an 11-year-old girl who acts like an 11-year-old girl, and it's so cute to see her interact with her mom and Delilah and even Josh. She was my favorite part. Any interaction that had Ruby in it, interacting specifically with Delilah, to be frank, was just so cute and made me so happy. I've said a lot of positive things about this book. The thing is, I hate third act breakups, as well as the miscommunication or a lack of communication trope, which is abhorrent. I think I'm using that word correctly. I don't know. There's so much of it in this book. And not even just between the two love interests, Delilah and Claire, but also between Delilah and Astrid, and Claire and Iris and Astrid, towards Astrid. Because Claire and Iris don't like Astrid's fiance, but have not told her until 2 weeks before the wedding. Actually, I don't think they ever end up telling her. They plan on telling her, but as they go to the place, or go to pick her up to tell her, she's already kicked out the fiance because he bought a house in Seattle without telling her. And Delilah and Astrid have so much trauma due to their childhoods that they have not worked out or seem to have properly communicated with each other at any point about. And I'm like, what the And then there's the whole it's casual thing between Claire and Delilah, because they won't just have a conversation about how they really feel until after things go sideways. Because Delilah's not good at talking about her emotions and communicating, and it's really frustrating. I would like to remind you that all of these women are 30 years old. And I am saying this as someone who is 21. Yeah, I have a good 9 years of life experience with them, but I know how to communicate with people and communicate my feelings. Is it something I'm still learning? Yes, but I still have better skills than they do at the age of 30. So it was so frustrating for the third act breakup to happen, specifically because Delilah does not verbally communicate that yes, she will stay with Claire, and Astrid brings up the fact that Delilah initially went after Claire to ruffle Astrid's feathers because of a bet that Astrid never took, and stopped really mattering after Claire and Delilah spent more than one night flirting at a bar. So it was It was really silly. There's also the fact that it took, like, the span of the book takes place over, like, a month. Most of it is within, like, 2 weeks. And they already love each other. Excuse me. Excuse me! And they're saying it, too, so. It does take, like, a month for the I love you statements, but that's because they are not together for, like, 2 weeks. So, yeah. The book was a 3, which is sad because it's another booktuber's, like, top 4, like, it's within their top 10. I can't remember the YouTuber's name at the moment. Which is sad because I think I follow them. But I was really, really looking forward to it, and then it's just fraught with people not knowing how to communicate. So yeah, that got like a 3.5. And now I am reading The Romance Rivalry, and I am 50 pages in? Yeah, 50 pages in. This is about, oh crap, what's her name? Irene? Hold on. Give me a sec. It's in first person, so, like, learning the titular character's name has always been difficult for me because it's almost never mentioned outright. That's why I don't like first-person books. Or, I don't want to write a first-person book. I'm fine reading them. Anyways, her name is Irene, and the love interest name is Aiden. Irene is, at the age of 18, one of the biggest reviewers of romance books. Flat out. Enough to be getting the attention of a South Korean dating website's attention to, like, secure a brand deal with. The book starts off with her going to her senior prom. I understand that there's a lot of very accomplished young, like, influencers. I understand this. I get this. And it does seem like she puts a shit ton of work into it. She does a lot of it. This is just a book I'm just suspending my disbelief. But she is now going to college. We get a little bit of setup with her family. She comes from a family of prodigies, essentially. At least on her sibling sides. Her oldest sister is a beauty influencer, or model, specifically for, like, skincare and stuff. And then her little brother, whose name is Eugene, is, like, a golf prodigy. It's at, like, 13. So this is her way of, like, being enough for her parents. That and the fact that she is specifically going to, it's not Berkeley. What is it? Is it Berkeley? Hold on. She's going to a small college, and I have to remember the name now. Excuse me. Come on. Come on. Brighton. Brighton? Yeah, Brighton. Brighton University. And she's going to get a degree so she can be a literary editor, publishing editor. Anyways, but she has a online rival called Aiden, who, shocker, shocker, is in her same major, but for writing, but to become a writer. And I'm, once again, 50 pages in, and it's very clear that he is attracted to her. And in the kind of, like, oh, I'm gonna have fun with you kind of way, like, poking and prodding and just being, like, a mild dick. But they have a rivalry online. They know who each other are. They use their real names in their reviewing. But they have a lot of opposing views, and his fans are particularly toxic to her, which he's, I think, seems concerned about, if I'm remembering correctly. But the whole plot of the book is that Irene's goal for college, for her first year of college, is to fall in love. And she is going to use the book tropes that she knows so well to do so, essentially. So each of the titles of the book is a different, like, trope, essentially. Like, there's the miscommunication trope. I'm so tempted to just skip that entire chapter. Just one bed. There's an enemies to lovers. There's a marriage of convenience. Like, small town romance. Like, all of these, like well-known, tropes, essentially. This book also takes place in, like, the real world, and I know this because there's a romance glossary, and it talks specifically about, Black Dagger Brotherhood, which is by a real-life author, as well as, like, Twilight fic, which is apparently a fanfic term, specifically about Twilight fanfics. And there's a lot of things, and it's very interesting. I am also a little concerned, because in the romance glossary, what? I have a screaming cat in my house. He's on top of my fridge. Anyways, I am mildly concerned, because, like I said, in the romance glossary, there is 2 things that are in reference to incestual relationships. And I'm like, why the fuck are we talking about that? There's mentions of flowers in the attic, which I do know a fair bit about now because I listened to an entire video essay about the entire series. As well as the twin brother and sister from J.R.R. Martin's A Song of Fire and Ice series, who apparently engage in an incestuous relationship. And I'm sitting here just kind of like, why is this being brought up? Why are we talking about this? So, I haven't seen any of the chapters being incestuous. And I am very concerned now, and yeah. Hold on, I gotta scan through all of them now to make sure. No, first proximity is fine. Second chance, practice lovers, workplace. Yeah, no, there's nothing about incestuous relationships, or like a chapter called incestuous relationships. Thank God. But yeah, I'm very interested. And a little worried. So this is the book that I'm currently reading, and then next up, my plan is to tackle Dragonfall while I'm reading another book, just because, once again, Dragonfall is not about the plot, Dragonfall is about how it's written. But I will probably finish this book in the next, 2 days, probably. So Tears of the Wolf should show up by the time I'm finished with this book. Then I'll probably read Tears of the Wolf, and then probably Dragonfall, because I don't know when my next shipment of books is going to get in. But yeah, the goal is for me to check in, at the very least, by the time I finish this book. But we'll see. So yeah, that's where we're at now. 15 days after the last time I recorded. Yay! Did do Legends awesome. Okay, so I am now halfway through the romance rivalry. I said I was gonna actually check in this time. Things are gonna go downhill from here. So, Irene and Adrian are now fake dating, because of course they are. It's a ploy to get their, to get the haters off of Irene's back, because Aiden's followers are particularly nasty, but Aiden also deals with a lot of, boundary crossing and, oh my god, I want to have a secret baby, and that kind of shit. So, they're fake dating, and they're gonna do a live, but they need to practice. And it seems very clear that Irene and Aiden are like they're dating. They're not dating, but they're it's fake dating, but it's dating. Do you want to come back? Anyways, I'm not gonna change the camera angle as long as he doesn't start looking at his ass on camera. Hi. So, but the thing is, we're only halfway through the book. I still have another 160 pages. And nothing good happens after this kind of stuff happens. There's gonna be a third act breakup, because there is like a chapter called, well, there's one called Unrequited Love, and there's one called Miscommunication. And I, for one, am not looking forward to that. I am so excited to take a break from contemporary romance after this. I think the next book that I'm gonna properly read is probably gonna be a novella. I'm probably gonna start Dragonfall here shortly. Maybe. I think Dragonfall might be a June read, because I am kind of scared to start it. But they kissed. They kissed, and I know things are gonna go wrong now. That's what's gonna happen. I also don't really like Irene as a character. I think her social anxiety is really well written, but I also think that she's just kind of frustrating. I think that's gonna change now that her and Aiden are like together. But she also just jumps. It's the same issue that I had with Lunar Love, which is with the main character there also just kind of jumping to conclusions, and like filling in the blanks with what she thinks should be true, not what is actually true. So I am concerned that the same thing is going to happen, especially with titles like Unrequited Love and Miscommunication, and I don't want to deal with it. So I'm going to read probably another 50 pages, because the goal is to finish this book tomorrow. So I'll probably get to the 300 page mark today, maybe, depending on when 300 pages is. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get through chapter 18, chapter 12 right now. Why is it Fated Mates? Oh, interesting. Anyways, I'm a little scared, to be frank. So I will probably check in when things go wrong again. Also, there is one thing about Aiden's character that gave me a very strong ick. Mainly because this is contemporary romance, which is he goes from 0 to 100 so quickly because they kind of get like hit by a bike. And he's just like, I'm gonna fucking kill this dude. And I'm sitting there just kind of like, that is unnecessary. You guys are fine. So, but he was just like, he was gonna hurt you. I'm just kind of like, unintentionally, first of all. Second of all, y'all are like right in front of the medical center. And that's the prelude to them kissing, and I'm just kind of like, I don't like that. I don't like the whole touch her and you die trope in contemporary romance. I don't always like it in fantasy or romantasy either. So I have feelings and opinions. But he is like down bad for this girl. So, which is nice. We'll see how the next couple of chapters go. I'm scared. Okay. Okay, so I finished the romance Rivalry. Don't know how I feel, to be honest. I think it's like a... I really don't know how I feel. So I don't have a rating yet, but there wasn't really any miscommunication. I mean, there was. I still don't like the main character. I mean, I like her more by the end of it. But I also think a couple of chapters just didn't need to exist. Like, the epilogue didn't need to exist, in my personal opinion. I think it would have been funnier or better positioned if the epilogue was at the beginning. I think if the epilogue was a prologue instead, we didn't get the name of Aiden until later, and we didn't get the name of the reviewer either, of Irene Loves Love Books. I think if we didn't get either one of those, just got that beginning, that cold open beginning, and then jumped into the prom scene, that would have been a little bit better. Also, Aiden writes a furry, fated maid book. And Irene's just like, this is life-changing. Like, this is my favorite book ever. I'm kind of like, you just read about wolves? Werewolves? Question mark? The thing is, they're, like, straight up wolves, it seems like, the entire time. And I'm like, at least for the first chapter, I'm kind of like, are y'all shifters? I would assume so, because that's usually how it goes. And the professor gave it a spice rating, so I'm like, I really hope you didn't just read about some dogs boinking. So, yeah, I still really like Aiden's character, and I like Irene more by the end of it because she comes to her senses a little bit, but it does seem like a very quick change. So, yeah, I also feel like the college experience thing was very unrealistic. If you were failing all of your classes, you're going to get called in by your academic advisor, not the professor. Professors usually don't care if you pass or fail, at least in my experience. Usually your academic advisor is the one who's going to be like, hey, what is going on? Not your lit professor. It made sense for him to talk to Aiden because he was Aiden's sponsor for a scholarship, but it did not make sense for him to talk to Irene, despite being his student. Also giving them extra credit as like yeah, you guys are gonna fail this, I'm gonna give you guys an out though, is like, not a single professor I know would do that. So, also, we don't know if Irene passes the rest of her classes, and from like the sounds of it, there, like, she got back from Thanksgiving break. Mind you, from Thanksgiving break to the end of semester is usually like 3 weeks. 4 if you count the finals week, at least in my university. So, if it's maybe even 3 weeks, it's usually not that long. So, like, trying to go from failing all of your classes to passing all your classes, especially in-person classes that usually have pretty strict deadlines. Like, there's no way that Irene doesn't fail most of her classes from her freshman year, or from her first semester, even if she passes lit. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts and feelings. I really don't know how I feel about the book. So, it's sitting at a 3 right now. I'm gonna sit on it a little bit longer. I think I'll try and figure out more on my drive home. So, I didn't bring any other books on this trip, and I'm a little upset, but yeah, that's those are my non-existent thoughts on Romance Rivalry. I'm definitely gonna do a deep dive into this book. I have a lot of feelings, so yeah. Okay, so I'm currently sitting waiting for work, but I finished Magnificent this morning, which is a short novel. It's a novella. I don't know why I said short novel. It is a novella about a queer teenage superhero who is part alien, and essentially the whole book deals with them coming to terms with themselves, like their identity, not being a monster because of their identity, whether that's the part alien part or their powers or their genderqueerness. Very good. It's like 80 pages, pretty solid. The author themselves is, I think they're non-binary. Yes, they are non-binary. So pretty accurate representation. I thought it was really good. It's very, very short, which once again is a novella. I understood that it was going to be short. I just wish that there was a little bit more, especially regarding the character's relationship with specifically her mother and sister. Their mother and sister. They're a lot closer to their father, who is a trans man. Apparently. He is. I don't know why I said apparently. It's just not revealed until like halfway through the book. But he's also an alien, so. Overall, pretty solid. I give it a 4, just because I didn't feel like I could give it a 5, just because it doesn't tackle everything that I want it to, personally. But overall, pretty good. Next one up is, I'm in a shirt for my job, so that's why I'm holding a hand over my chest. Because people need to know where I work, despite the fact that in the background it kind of shows at least the location that I work at. But the next one is The Throne of the 11, by the same author. So, yeah. I'm gonna start this while I'm waiting for work. Alright, so I have the last sort of update for May. It is the 30th. So technically speaking, I could probably start another book, but I'm not gonna be able to finish one, so I'm gonna cut it off for this month. The last thing that I read was The Throne of the 11, which I expected to be high fantasy, and it was sci-fi, which is a little weird. It followed an Emperor. It was another novella. It was like 72 pages, super quick read, finished it in a day. It was about the way that the system is set up is like, emperors will only serve for 5 years, then they'll get removed. They're put in place by the 11, which are like their gods. So the previous emperor is removed from his seat. His body is reformed and reshaped. He's given a new name, and he's sent to be a servant for the new king. The new king destroys all his peace. It's not a huge thing. There's a lot that's left unresolved. Okay, there's a big plot point that's left unresolved, which is essentially like the war that the new emperor started. But his 5 years is up by the end of the book. And he is released to be with his new family. We find out the 11 are actually like aliens, and there's a ship. The author for both of the novellas that I just talked about last essentially is the same person. They very much are into like aliens, shapeshifting, and genderqueerness, which is like all fine. It's all a-okay. I just haven't read a lot of that stuff recently, as I've been reading a lot of just romance and romantasy. So it was actually a really nice break for the end of the month. Yeah, that's kind of the end for this month. My plan next month is I might read the other 3 books that I have, because I have Dragonfall that I didn't read, Tears of the Wolf that I didn't read, and The King Weaver that I didn't read this month. Not that I was necessarily planning on getting all of those done this month, but those are the next books that are on my shelf, and probably some of the next books that I'll be doing a book and a beat review for. I will likely be doing a book and a beat review for Legends and Lattes and Daindreth's Assassin, just because I feel like I went into either of those a ton. And then I think when I finish King Weaver, I might do a longer book and a beat with the 2 novellas that I read and King Weaver, because they're all by the same author. So yeah. I also will probably be taking a break from romance and fantasy here at the beginning of June. I want to read some true crime books, because that's what initially got me back into reading a couple of years ago. And recently, and I miss it. So, yeah. That's the end of the May vlog. Have a nice day.